Did you know that diet is a major source of our toxic exposures, even among those of us who eat healthy? What we eat and drink often contains toxic chemicals and heavy metals that can adversely affect our brain, nervous system, hormones, reproductive system, fertility, and much more. The good news is that simple changes can make a big difference. One study, in fact, found that participants who made a few tweaks reduced the chemicals in their bodies by 50 to 95% in just 3 days. In this video, you'll learn what those simple changes were that led to a 50 to 95% reduction in toxic chemicals. But you'll also learn 8 essential items to have in your kitchen for a lifetime of healthy eating with minimal toxic exposures. If you've already detoxed your pots, pans, and food containers, then do yourself a favor and click away now. But if you're just getting started, or you don't know what you don't know about the toxins in your diet, and you want to save time learning what you should do, what you should know, then stay tuned. This video is perfect for you. I'm Sophia Ruan Gushée, author of A to Z of Detoxing, the ultimate guide to reducing our toxic exposures, host of the Practical Non-Toxic Living podcast, and founder of Ruan Living. I'm passionate about helping people just like you live a less toxic lifestyle because I know that it can lead to a life with more ease, presence, and fulfillment. 2 important things to remember in terms of what touches your food is that you want to avoid non-stick surfaces like non-stick pots and pans. The reason is they often contain chemicals that are referred to as PFCs or PFAS, and these chemicals are toxic and are so persistent they are now referred to as forever chemicals because they're expected to take at least a century to biodegrade. So we'll talk about the pots and pans you can use instead. And the second thing to avoid is plastics as much as you can. You're not going to be able to avoid them completely, but avoid them as much as you can because they can release hormone disrupting chemicals into the food and drinks that they contain. So let's talk about what you have instead. 1, have cast iron pots and pans. These are the safest alternative to non-stick pots and pans. These are my cast iron pots and pans, and I wanted to show you what they look like because when I was reading about them, I often wondered, what do they look like? If I were to go to a department store, I had no idea what to look for. They're black, and another thing I wish I knew sooner is that after you use them, unlike regular nonstick pots and pans where you wash them with soap and water, you shouldn't use soap and water with cast iron. Instead, soon after you cook with them, use an oven mitt to protect your hands from the heat and run them under hot water and scrub them clean with a stiff brush. And then dry the water with a paper towel so the water doesn't rust the cast iron, and moisturize the cast iron after it's dry with whatever oil you have on the kitchen countertop. Cast iron has its limitations though because it can rust, and the seasoning from the oils on the surface will wear out over time. And so there's some conditions that wear out that seasoning more. One is boiling water. So when I'm going to boil pasta, for example, or steam vegetables, I use stainless steel. So the second essential item in a non-toxic kitchen are stainless steel pots and pans, like this. Most kitchens have them. So when you're going to cook with acidic foods, you have 2 great options in terms of toxicity. One is using ceramic coated cast iron, and this is what ceramic coated cast iron looks like. A second option that's often recommended is glass cookware. Now let's talk about what you're going to store your food and drinks in. 2 key materials to have in terms of storage are glass and stainless steel. This is my cabinet of glass containers. I try and collect glass containers that are safe enough for not just the refrigerator, but also the dishwasher and the oven and freezer. For drinks, glass also works, especially at home. You might want to use this if you're infusing water with fruits or herbs. It's nice to be able to see them. But when you're taking drinks outside the home, or if you're giving children a water bottle, then stainless steel is great. It's indestructible and it's light. And in terms of food containers for kids who are taking lunches to school or snacks to the playground, then stainless steel is a great option as well. The last material I'll mention as a must-have is parchment paper. It's a great replacement for plastic wrap. Again, you want to avoid plastic wrap as much as you can because hormone-disrupting chemicals can leach into the food and onto hands. So when I was reading about parchment paper, I kept wondering, what does that look like? So I'm going to show you in case you're wondering too. It's often brown paper, it's sometimes bleached. I look for unbleached. And as you can tell, it's like paper, so it doesn't cling shut the way plastic wrap does. So if I'm wrapping a sandwich, I'll wrap the sandwich in parchment paper and then secure the packaging with aluminum foil. And you can get creative and even use stickers. Go into your children's sticker collection, find something cute, and secure the parchment paper with a cute sticker. So we just talked about the 5 must-have items for your kitchen. Next, let's talk about your food ingredients. As much as you can, you should eat organic, but you're not going to be able to have everything be organic. So there are 2 lists that can help you prioritize. Both lists are created by the Environmental Working Group, and they're known as the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. And these lists prioritize the produce that are most contaminated by pesticides. Those are known as the Dirty Dozen. And the Clean 15 is a list of the produce that tends to have the lowest levels of pesticides found. So you can use those lists by the Environmental Working Group to help you prioritize. Next are 2 appliances that will make home-cooked meals much easier. The Instapot makes cooking at home much more convenient. It'll save you a lot of time in cooking rice, stews, chicken, meats, even baking desserts. When I was looking for a pressure cooker or slow cooker, I found a lot of options that had inserts, the bowls inside that contain the food. A lot of them had a non-stick surface. Since I was trying to avoid that, I ended up buying the Instapot and have been very happy since. So I highly recommend the Instapot. Last is a powerful blender. I love my Vitamix blender. It's powerful enough to make not just smoothies, but also nut butters and much more. Let's recap the key things you should have in your home for a practical, non-toxic diet. You want cookware made of cast iron, stainless steel, and for the acidic foods, cookware that's made of ceramic-coated cast iron or glass. To store your foods and drinks, glass and stainless steel containers are great options. And parchment paper is a great replacement for plastic wrap. For your diet, eat organic as much as possible. You can use lists by the Environmental Working Group called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 to help you prioritize your budget. 2 appliances that will help make homemade cooking much more convenient are the Instapot and a powerful blender like the Vitamix. If you modify your kitchen to integrate these 8 things, then you will have eliminated a lot of toxic exposures and be on your way to using healthy eating to optimize your body's ability to detox, heal, and restore.